The Canon EOS R50, Sony ZV-E10, Panasonic LUMIX G7, Sony A6100, and Canon EOS M50 Mark II are the most popular budget mirrorless cameras of 2024. But which is the absolute best? We are going to compare them to each other and score them in various categories, with some categories holding more weight than others. In the end, we'll decide which is the best one based on the final score, and we will declare the absolute winner. Let's dive in. First, we are going to compare them on the image quality category, which has a multiplier of 2. Starting with number 5, the Canon EOS R50 packs a punch with its 2MP APS-C sensor, delivering crisp and vibrant images. However, its high ISO performance could use some improvement, especially in low light situations. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10 for image quality. Moving on to number 4, the Sony ZV-E10 impresses with its 2MP APS-C sensor and excellent color reproduction. While it excels in most situations, I found it struggles a bit with dynamic range in high contrast scenes. Overall, it earns an 8 out of 10 for image quality. At number 3, we have the Panasonic LUMIX G7, which despite its older 16MP Micro Four Thirds sensor, still holds its own with sharp images and great color accuracy. The smaller sensor size does limit its low light performance compared to the APS-C competitors, but it's still a strong contender. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10 for image quality. Coming in at number 2, the Sony A6100 really shines with its 2MP APS-C sensor, producing stunning images with excellent detail and dynamic range. Its low light performance is notably better than the LUMIX G7, making it a versatile choice for various shooting conditions. The A6100 earns a well-deserved 9 out of 10 for image quality. Finally, our top spot goes to the Canon EOS M50 Mark II, which continues to impress me with its 1MP APS-C sensor and dual-pixel CMOS-F. The images are sharp, colors are accurate, and it handles high ISO situations better than I expected. While it's not a massive leap from its predecessor, it still delivers outstanding image quality, scoring a 9 out of 10. The Canon EOS M50 Mark II takes the crown in the image quality department with its score of 9, thanks to its excellent all-around performance and ability to produce stunning images in various lighting conditions. Next, we're going to compare them on the size and weight category, which has a multiplier of 1.5. Starting with number 5, the Canon EOS R50 is surprisingly compact for an APS-C mirrorless, but it's not the lightest in our lineup. I found it comfortable to hold for extended periods, though those with larger hands might find the grip a bit small. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. Moving on to number 4, the Sony ZV-E10 is a vlogger's dream in terms of portability. It's incredibly lightweight and easy to carry around all day, but the lack of a proper viewfinder might be a deal breaker for some. It earns an 8 out of 10 from me. At number 3, we have the Panasonic LUMIX G7, which strikes a nice balance between size and functionality. It's not the smallest camera here, but its ergonomics are top-notch, making it comfortable for all-day shooting. I'd rate it 7.5 out of 10. Coming in at number 2, the Sony A6100 is impressively compact, especially considering its APS-C sensor. It's a joy to carry around and doesn't compromise on features, though the small buttons might be fiddly for some users. It gets an 8.5 out of 10 in my book. Finally, our top spot goes to the Canon EOS M50 Mark II, which is an absolute marvel in terms of size and weight. It's the most compact and lightweight option in our lineup, making it perfect for travel and everyday carry. Although the small size means fewer physical controls, I'm giving it a well-deserved 9 out of 10. The Canon EOS M50 Mark II takes the crown in this category with its impressive 9 points, offering an unbeatable combination of portability and functionality that makes it the go-to choice for photographers who prioritize a lightweight setup without sacrificing image quality. Next, we're going to compare them on the battery life category, which has a multiplier of 1.5. Starting with the Canon EOS R50, I found its battery life to be somewhat disappointing, lasting only about 250 shots per charge. However, the USB-C charging capability is a nice touch for on-the-go power-ups. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Moving on to the Sony ZV-E10, this little powerhouse surprised me with its endurance, managing around 440 shots per charge. The downside? It uses the older micro USB port for charging, which feels a bit dated in 2024. It earns a solid 8 out of 10. The Panasonic LUMIX G7 sits comfortably in the middle, offering about 360 shots per charge, which is decent for its class. I appreciate that it comes with an external charger, saving you from tying up the camera while juicing up. It gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Next up is the Sony A6100, which impressed me with its stamina, delivering around 420 shots per charge. Plus, the USB charging feature is a lifesaver when you're out and about. It's a strong contender with an 8 out of 10. Last but not least, the Canon EOS M50 Mark II left me wanting more, with a battery life of only about 305 shots per charge. On the bright side, it does offer USB charging, which helps mitigate the short battery life to some extent. I'd rate it a 6 out of 10. In the battery life department, the Sony ZV-E10 and A6100 come out on top, both scoring 8 points, thanks to their impressive endurance and convenient charging options. Next, we are going to compare them on the lens compatibility and availability category, which has a multiplier of 2. Starting with the Canon EOS R50, this camera offers decent compatibility with RF and RFS lenses, but the native lens lineup is still growing. While you can use EF and EFS lenses with an adapter, it's not as seamless as native options, earning it a 7 out of 10. Moving on to the Sony ZV-E10, it's part of Sony's E-mount system, which boasts an impressive array of lenses from both Sony and third-party manufacturers. The wide selection and excellent quality of available glass make it a strong contender, scoring 8.5 out of 10. The Panasonic LUMIX G7 uses the Micro Four Thirds mount, giving you access to a vast ecosystem of lenses from Panasonic, Olympus, and other brands. While the smaller sensor might not be everyone's cup of tea, the sheer variety of affordable, high-quality lenses is hard to beat, earning it a solid 9 out of 10. Next up is the Sony A6100, which shares the same E-mount system as the ZV-E10. However, it's been around longer, meaning there are even more lens options optimized for its APS-C sensor. The combination of native and adapted lenses gives you incredible flexibility, scoring it a 9 out of 10. Finally, we have the Canon EOS M50 Mark II, which uses Canon's EFM mount. While there are some excellent EFM lenses available, the limited selection and uncertain future of the mount are concerning. You can adapt EF and EFS lenses, but it's not ideal for a mirrorless system, resulting in a score of 6 out of 10. The Panasonic LUMIX G7 and Sony A6100 tie for the top spot with 9 points each. Finally, we're going to compare them on the video recording capabilities category, which has a multiplier of 2. The Canon EOS R50 offers solid 4K 30 video with oversampling for sharp results, but it lacks 4K 60 and advanced color profiles. I found its autofocus to be reliable in video mode, even in challenging situations, earning it a respectable 7.5 out of 10. Moving on to the Sony ZV-E10, this vlogger-friendly camera impressed me with its 4K 30 recording and excellent autofocus, though it struggles with rolling shutter in 4K. The built-in directional mic is a nice touch for content creators, and I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for video capabilities. The Panasonic LUMIX G7 might be older, but it still packs a punch with 4K 30 recording and a variety of useful video features. However, its contrast detect autofocus isn't as reliable as newer models, so I'd rate it 7 out of 10. Sony's A6100 delivers excellent 4K video quality with great autofocus performance, but the lack of headphone jack and in-body stabilization held it back in my tests. Overall, it's a strong contender with a score of 8.5 out of 10. Last but not least, the Canon EOS M50 Mark II offers decent 4K video, but with a heavy crop and without dual pixel AF in 4K mode. Despite these limitations, its 1080p performance and vlogging-friendly features make it a solid choice, earning a 7 out of 10 in my book. After extensive testing, the Sony A6100 comes out on top with 8.5 points, thanks to its excellent 4K quality and reliable autofocus, making it the best all-rounder for video in this budget-friendly lineup. The results of our comparison show each product shines in its own way, but the Sony A6100 stands out with its score of 77.75. Drawing from my hands-on experience with all the cameras on the list, it's safe to say that the Sony A6100 is a stellar all-round performer, consistently hitting high scores across all categories. Whether it was capturing beautifully balanced images, traveling light with its compact size, yet retaining a considerable list of features, or recording superbly detailed 4K video, this camera delivered. Its battery life ensures you keep shooting for longer periods, and its expansive lens ecosystem, and icing on the cake, offers immense flexibility to photographers of all sorts. Regarding the other players in the game, the Sony ZV-E10 came in second with a score of 73, which showcased its competitive features and performance. Special mention goes to Panasonic LUMIX G7 and Canon EOS M50 Mark II, which held their own, delivering respectable performances across the tested categories and securing the scores of 68.75 and 67, respectively. However, they did fall a bit behind in a few aspects when compared to Sony's A6100. The Canon EOS R50, while it trailed with a score of 62.5, it proved itself to be a reliable imaging tool. In the grand scheme of things, what matters most is figuring out what camera best serves your creative needs. All of these options are fantastic in their own right, but in this comparison, the Sony A6100 took the crown.